Hey, hi all. Welcome to our new video. Today we are going to discuss about the main important topic. Uh, Nowadays it's trending also. That is called as ISO 27001 2022. So ISO 27001 was standard has been revised, and ISO has come up with a new standard in year 2022. So there are certain changes they have done in the ISO 27001. So today we are going to discuss what are those changes and how it is going to impact to your organization and what needs to be done for a successful transition for ISO 27001 2013 to 2022 version. So we will discuss step by step what are those changes and how we need to implement those changes. Major changes, the first change is that the earlier the standard name was ISO IEC 27001 2013. Now the standard has been totally changed and the name, the version has been changed and the version is called as ISO 27001 2022 version. So these standard ISO 27001 has been withdrawn and we do have now a new standard with us. The major changes what you can see about the name. So this is the new standard in front of you that is called as ISO 27001 2015 2022 version. The name has been totally been changed. You can see here the name. Now the name of the standard is information security, cyber security and the privacy protection. So they have taken ISO, if you people have seen ISO 27002 has been also been revised. I have also made a video on that. So what are the changes has been done on ISO 27002. I will give the link in the description. You can go through that video also if you have missed. So you can see here information security, cyber security and the privacy protection has been included in 2022 version. Information security management system requirement is the same one. So basically they have trying to cover information security, cyber security and the privacy also. So all these three would be covered as a part of ISO 27001 standard. If you'll see the older version that is called as ISO 27001 2013 version, if you're going to see that version, in that version the name was only information technology. So they have taken only name information technology. The first changes what you can see in the name of the standard has been changed. Earlier it was information technology. Now it is information security, cyber security and the privacy protection. This is the first change what they have done in the standard. Another minor change about the numbers of pages. In the older standard, the numbers of pages were 23. So this is the new standard. In this new standard, the number of pages is 19. The total number of pages is 19. In the older standard, it is 19. It is new in the new standard, it is 19. In the older standard, it was 23. If you'll see the numbers of pages, it was 23 in the older standard. So this is the second changes what has been done. Some new terminology database has been added in the clause 4. If you go to the clause 4, so they have added, let's go directly to the clause 4. Oh, sorry, in clause 3. In clause 3, if you'll see, they have added the terminology database. If you can see all the terminology database or the references or the terms of definition, you can say, are now available in this two hyperlink. So they have created two different hyperlink. On those hyperlinks, you can able to find out the terms and definition. If you'll see the older standard, in the older standard, let's go back and see what is there. In the older standard, yeah, this is in the older standard, they have clearly written that for the purpose of this document, the terms and definition given in ISO 27001 apply. So for older standard, you need to refer to ISO 27000, but in the newer standard, you can see it is referring to different hyperlink. If you are going to click on those hyperlink, you can able to get the terms and definition what has been added. So this is the third change what they have done. The next changes is being done in the clause number 4.2. In the clause number 4.2, in the older standard, let's go back to older standard. So this was in the older standard that there were 2 points: understanding the needs and expectation of the interested parties where the clause name. There were two pointers were there. The first thing, you need to identify the interested party that are relevant to your information security management system and the requirement of those interested party. So there are two things, two clause you can say where they are in their older standard. In the newer standard, what they have done, they have added the third subclause also. They have added the third subclause that is called as the which of the, if you read this, which of these requirement will be addressed through the information security management system. Earlier, what is happening, we are trying to identify the needs and expectation of the interested parties. So only needs and expectation we are trying to identify it. But in the older standard were not clearly written whether those expectation or needs we are trying to fulfill through the implementing the proper information security controls. So now they have come up with a new you can say requirement where you need to address those requirement through your information security management system, or you can say the controls which you are trying to implement within your organization. So this is the new requirement what has been added. Something also has been changed in clause number 4.4. They have also changed something in clause number 4.4. Let's go back to 4. Let's see in the older standard also 4.4. So in the older standard 4.4, the organization will establish, implement, maintain, continually improve an information security management system in accordance with the requirement of the international standard. So this was the requirement what they have mentioned in your older standard where you need to implement and maintain and continually improve your information security management system. This was the requirement. Now in the new standard, they have trying to add the process. They have included the process. If you read that sentence, the organization shall establish, implement, maintain, continually improve an information security management system, including the processes needed and their interaction. So the process and their interaction has been included. If some of you may be aware about the ISO 9001 standard, so these things they have already incorporated in ISO 9001 2015 standard. So they have taken this from the ISO 9001 standard. Here you need to include all the processes and their interaction also. So this is one of the changes what has been done. Next changes they have done in the clause number 6.2. So let's go quickly to clause number 6.2. The clause number 6.2 talks about the information security objective and planning to achieve them. So this was the requirement. Here you need to define the information security objective, and accordingly you need to prepare a plan that how you are going to achieve them. So this was the requirement there. So they have added two more things. There are certain requirements were there. So they have come up with a two more requirement In the clause number 6.2, let's see in the next new standard. This is your new standard. So point number D, be monitored and available as documented information. So they have added these two requirements. Rest of the requirements are the same. So your information earlier the requirement were there key your objective should be measurable. You need to the objective should be on your SMART principle. It should be measurable. It should be consistent with your information security policy. So earlier these requirements were there. Now they have included two more parameters to be monitored. Now onwards, you need to monitor your information security objective, what you have defined, and this information security objective should be available as a documented information. Now, what is a documented information? This should be available on paper or on spreadsheets and all, and this should be monitored on regular interval of time. So these requirements they have come up with in terms of secure information security objective. One thing has been added in clause number 8. Sorry, in clause number planning of change, clause number 6, they have added 6.3. This 6.3 has been newly introduced. Earlier, this 6.3 were not there in your older standard. This has been newly introduced. So if some of the you people may aware about ISO 9001 2015 version, 9001 2015 version. So this clause was already there in ISO 9001 standard. So they have incorporated this planning of changes. In this you need to plan your changes in a systematic manner, and you need to have a change management process here. Change management process should be there. So you need to have a change management process and policy to fulfill this requirement, planning of changes related requirement. So this has been newly introduced in the new standard. Uh, in the communication process, clause 7.4, in clause 7.4, something has been deleted. If you see in your older standard, clause 7.4, uh, this is the clause 7.4. Some deletions are being there. Now, who shall communicate and the process by which communication shall be effected. These two requirements were deleted. That they have deleted these two requirements. In older standard it was there. Now in your new standard, if you'll see, this is your new standard. In your new standard, these two things has been deleted. D and E has been deleted. Now they have come up with a new or fresh requirement, or they have combined these two and they have come up with a new requirement that is called as how to communicate. In the new standard, how to communicate has been added. In how to communicate, who shall communicate, and process of communication, all those things would be covered. How to communicate. So this has been added in your newer standard. Now something also has been added in clause number 8. 8.1 operational planning control. Yes. In the operational planning control, this is your new standard. In the operational planning control, they have come up with a two more requirement that is called as the establish the criteria for the process and implementing control of the process in according with the criteria. So this has been also added in the clause number 8, that is called as the operations clause. And something in the last, if you see, the organization shall ensure externally provided process, product or services that are relevant to the information security management system are controlled. So now they have focused on the externally provided services also, because nowadays everyone is taking the services, cloud-based services have been taken. So now the more focus has been done in the new standard on the externally provided product and services. So this has been added. Now some changes has been done in clause number 9. In clause number 9.1, in clause number 9.1, this has been added in monitoring, measuring, and analysis and evaluation. In older standard, only up to this things were there. So this has been freshly introduced. The organization shall evaluate the information security performance and the effectiveness of the information security management system. Here you need to measure the performance of your ISMS and the effectiveness. Both we need to measure in terms of monitoring and measuring analysis and evaluation. In 9.2 and 9.3, 9.2 internal audit were there. In the internal audit, if you'll see your older standard, this is your older standard. In 9.1 and 9.2 were the internal audit. So this was the clause from the older standard. These are the things were there. If you see the newest standard, so they have segregated this between general and internal audit program. So this 9.1 has been segregated between two parts, internal audit program. In internal audit program, the organization shall plan, establish, maintain an audit program, including the frequency, responsibility, and all those things they have included. Audit criteria, scope, selection of auditor, and the audit results and all that. So this they have segregated 9.1 into two part, 9.2 into two part, 9.2.1 and 9.2.2 internal audit program and the journal. This has been added. In the management review meeting 9.3, in management review also they have come up with input earlier in the management review meeting. This has been added in the management review meetings pointers also. Earlier this point were not there. Change in the needs and expectation of interested party that are relevant to the information security management system. Now needs and expectation earlier we are not capturing as a part of management review. Now they have come up with a new uh, requirement. Now onwards, what we need to do in our MRM points or MRF points, we need to include the changes in the needs and expectation, because the needs and expectation of the stakeholders may change or interested party may change over the time period. So this also they have considered in the newer standard. The major changes in on the Annex A part, if you'll see the Annex A part, in the Annex A part, now what they have done, earlier earlier total 114 controls were there. Now the controls has been reduced. Now we do have total 93 controls. Out of this 93 controls, 11 new controls has been introduced. Now this earlier we do have 14 domains for this 114 controls. Now for this 93 controls we do have only 4 domains, you can say. We do have now 4 domains. This 4 domains is been segregated between the first one is your organizational control. Organizational control. The second control is related to the people related control, your HR related control, people related control. The third control, your physical security or your admin related control, physical security, And the fourth control is related to the IT controls, technological controls, what they are calling technological controls. So these are the things has been segregated as a part of NXA control. Uh, what are the major controls in NXA are there? I have created a separate video on that as part of ISO 27022. So I have created a separate video. I will give the link in the description. You can go to if you want to learn about what are the major changes has been done in ISO 27002, then RNX8 part, then you can refer that video also. So these are the major changes that has been introduced. Now the questions comes here, what needs to be done as part of organization, because some of the organization may have ISO 27001 certification. So what is the impact going to you? What the impact would be there on your certification? So as per the guidelines, there is guidelines. There is nothing going to be impacted on you. They have a given of fair timelines to give you the successful transition. 3 year is the timeline has been given by the ISO for the successful transitions. Now onwards, those organizations who are going for a fresh certifications, they will get ISO 27001 2022 only. The first CAB certification body needs to do a successful transition. After that, when the CAB, the certification body will do the transition, then it comes to the organization. So we need not to be panic. There, we do have a proper time to have a successful transition. So 3 years has been time given by the uh, this ISO. The major things what we need to do as an organization part, the first thing is that you need to hire a consultant who can help you out for the successful transition. The second thing is that you need to review, because this is the phrase requirement related to RTP, risk review a risk treatment plan and align your risk treatment plan as per the new numbering controls, because earlier we used to prepare SOA, statement of applicability. Okay. Now, if we are preparing the SOA, then we do have refer the older NXA control. Now, this SOA needs to be changed or update. You can say this needs to be updated with your new requirement. You need to align your RTP. Your risk treatment plan should be aligned properly. Uh, Review your ISMS management procedure and your policy and plans, because some of the controls has been introduced, newly introduced. You need to have proper policy and process for that. So you need to review and update your ISMS manual and all those things. Review information security objective, because this is the major changes what they have done. So earlier the objectives, because as per the requirement, objectives should be your documented information. This should be monitored on regular interval of time. So you need to update your ISMS objective, and as per the updation, you need to have a documented information. So this should be done. Communication plan also, you need to review and update your communication plan, because some of the changes has been done on your communication plan. So you need to update your ISMS communication plan. And if required, you need to update your policy process standards and all. So these are the things would be done by the organization in line with the compliant with the ISO 27001 2022 related requirement. So that's all from my side. Thank you.